Hey guys, Moose here. Welcome back to Stonehearth in our Rayya's Children playthrough. We're nearing completion of our little digging project here. Try and get through as much of that as we can today. And it has been one hell of a week already for me. It's just basically like the worst possible first day of a week that I've had in a long time now. Could have really used an easy week here, especially because I got classes starting up again tomorrow. Fortunately, this will mark the halfway point and we'll be mostly through it, but still plenty of work left to go, so it's stressing me out. But people just, I don't know what it is. It was a lot of stuff they should have done a few days ago, so I don't want to chalk it up to people just being lazy on Monday, but it's just people totally dropping the ball. Just straight up not doing their job, basically. Even though it was like we had a meeting last Wednesday basically saying, hey, this happens a lot, don't do this, and then like literally every one of them did it. So and they're engineers too, so they should know better. Like theoretically they're more intelligent than me, but I'm finding that hard to believe now. Not that I'm getting up my own ass about how, oh, I'm so much smarter than them. That's not it. It's just they're being really stupid. Or lazy, one or the other, and it's frustrating the shit out of me because it really adds a lot to my workload, so I'm probably going to do some yelling tomorrow, but we'll see. I just got, okay, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I just got some kind of a pop-up from Windows saying something. Can't see it, so I'm going to ignore it. Don't think it has anything to do with restarting, so shouldn't be an issue on that front. Alright, wait. Did the game crash? Stonehearth assertion failed. Assertion failed. Q.is unit blah blah blah. Alright, game crashed. This is off to a lovely start. Okay, come on. Sorry about that. I think we're getting back in quick enough that I'm not going to stress the having this in the episode. Shouldn't be a problem. Plus, it's good to show that, you know, if something is wrong with the game, I don't want to, like, artificially show, hey, it never crashes. No, it does crash. Every crash I've had, I think, has been on camera, though. I haven't really hidden any of it, is, I guess, my point. But to some degree, and this kind of goes back to the conversation well, it's not really a conversation, but the stuff I was talking about, about a week ago? About the early access and the responsibility of YouTubers and streamers to honestly portray what a game is and what you can expect when purchasing a particular game. And I feel like hiding crashes like that is not a big deal, but can be a factor. Because you're not, like, if I restarted the video, I wouldn't be doing it to hide the crash. I'd just be like, well, no one wants to watch me restart the game, that's boring. It's not entertaining. And that's true, but it depends how you approach this, how you approach Let's Plays as a service. Because they are a service to a degree. No, you know what? Not to a degree. They are a service, end of story. Either it's entertainment or it's well, not educational, but informative as far as like, okay, well, what kind of game is this? And, you know, what can I expect if I put money into it? So showing something other than what's actually happening might be construed as disingenuous and perhaps misleading, so I don't want to do that. Not that I'm, like, so awesome or something for showing the game crashing. I don't think that's it. I think it's more just I don't really feel like it's worth hiding it. Or it's fair to hide it, I guess. Since I do want you, if you're thinking about buying this game, to know exactly what you're getting into. I don't want you to watch this and feel like, oh, well, he made it look fun, so it's his fault that I felt like my money wasn't well spent. I don't want anyone to feel that way. Not because I'm Took me a second to think of what to say there, sorry about that, and then I stumbled over it. Not because I view myself as liable for that in any way, more just because I want to give people the right idea. Because I feel like if you look at YouTube videos and YouTubers and streamers and all that, am I gonna be shocking? No. Am I gonna be really good at games? No. That's not who I am. So what am I bringing to the table? And I think the most important thing there has got to be honesty. And I kind of... Okay, fuck it. I'm being way too picky about this. There we go, 20 by 20. Alright, let's pause and find out where this invasion is. Those are old notifications, okay. Thank God. For a second there I was panicking, like, what do you mean 3 people died? That was from the last episode. Alright, well they got healers, we'll just take them out. I don't think our whole military is here. Oh, they might be, they're just off-screen. But yeah, like, if I look at Northern Line and think about, well, where is his value? Like, why is he good? There's... Ooh. Oh, right, because we had people die. Okay. I think there's a few reasons why he's good. And I've talked about this before, but one of them is because he's charismatic and entertaining. And that it's a speaking... He's good at creating entertainment, and I think that's the biggest reason why he's above and beyond, like, much more successful than some of his peers. And maybe it has to do with timing of when he started, too. He's just been around longer, maybe, and that's why? I don't know. But he's an entertaining guy, and I think that's huge, and it shouldn't be underrated in any way. But, another aspect of it that I'm hoping is part of why he's popular is because he's honest and he doesn't go nuts with the memeing and shit. Like, he does a bit, and he can be a little bit silly, but he's silly in a way that you'd expect, like, someone's dad to be. He's not a kid, basically. So, whereas a guy like Last Grey Wolf or Austin is a little bit more youthful, let's say. And I don't mean that as an insult, I mean that it's just the difference in personality and the way they carry themselves, and neither one I think is inherently better than the other, it's just a matter-of-fact kind of thing. So, between the two, I don't think I can be the kind of guy that Austin or Last Grey Wolf is. This is not who I am. Much more like Northern Line, more... maybe a little bit silly, but the problem is I'm not as charismatic as Northern Line, so I gotta wonder if maybe that's not the route for success for me. But definitely overall seriousness, honesty, you know, not really hiding from anything. That, I think if I don't have that, there's no path to success for me on YouTube or streaming anywhere. So that's not why I care about being honest and sincere and all that. I think that's the right thing to do, but if I'm looking at it from a business perspective and I'm trying to figure out, alright, what are my strengths and how do I play to them? That's one of them, and that's one of the ones that I have to say, okay, well, I need to make sure that I focus on this and make it a point to be this way explicitly, because if I'm not, then I'm trying to be something that I'm not, basically. That's kind of what it comes down to. It's a little hard to explain without making it sound like I'm selling out and trying to be something I'm not, but that's the exact opposite of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to be me. I'm trying to be the best me that I can be, while also being successful. So that's really all it boils down to. And a lot of it's just all up in my own head, honestly. I don't think it's probably as complex as I'm making it out to be. It's probably more just like, be there long enough. Honestly, a lot of it is just if you beat your head against the wall long enough, you'll be fine. You'll most likely succeed, so... that's really all that... not all that matters, but that's kind of one of the big things. Just don't stop. Because I feel like if you keep making videos, you've got momentum and you can kind of build. And it's not just like, well, I always have new videos, so people are going to watch me. It's not that simple. It's more that I'm hopefully always improve. Like, if you do something enough times, eventually you're going to get good at it. If you're paying attention and actually genuinely trying to get good at it, you're going to a degree, get good at it. And that's what I'm kind of banking on, is the repetition, because I'm not really... I think I would be a decent speech giver, probably. Mostly just for narcissistic reasons. Like, I would enjoy feeling like people are getting behind me and like buying into what I'm saying, because that feels good. And yeah, I mean, I said narcissistic, but I don't think it's really that narcissistic to admit that. It's just, you know, everyone likes to feel validated. You like to feel good when, you know, other people are agreeing with you and saying that you've got good ideas. I don't think there's anyone in the world who would not enjoy that feeling. So there we go, we got our other person back. Fantastic. We're back up to where we were, I think. So I think that's totally normal. But, like, overall, that's not necessarily my personality. Like, if you stick me in a room with people that I don't know, I'm not going to be there trying to make friends or talk to people. I'm going to be sitting there trying to be as quiet as I can be, just watching other people. And not in a creepy way, just sort of like, alright, well, what kind of person who can I be in front of this person? Can I talk about... I don't really want to talk about games, that's another kind of deep-seated psychological thing that I'll get into another time, but... You know, what topics are okay to talk about? It's like, is there anyone here that I have anything in common with? Find out someone there likes hockey, I will open up, 100%. But right off the bat, I'm not gonna, like, they're foreign to me. They're a potential threat, kind of. And don't treat them like a threat, that's not what I mean. I just mean, it causes nervousness, basically, is what I'm getting at. So I tend to be pretty passive until I kind of figure out who I'm dealing with. So basically the general thing that I'm getting at is, previously I wouldn't have thought that this kind of thing was something that I would want to do or even be passively good at. I think I'm okay, but I think being okay mostly stems from not being up my own ass and not thinking I'm better than people and not thinking I'm that great, and mostly just being honest. Basically, being hopefully humble and just kind of understanding that, you know, it's not going to go nuts super quick, just being patient with it and being honest. Not just about, you know, hey, I'm not the next fucking Stephen Colbert or something, that's just not who I am. But also about, you know, hey, I don't really enjoy this game, I don't think it's that good. Not shilling for anything. I think that's important. And, you know, even though I'm not being sponsored by anyone, I think it's still important to just be honest about what you think about things. And unfortunately with me, a lot of the time that means being negative because I'm whiny, but you get what I mean, probably. Alright, military's in there. No need to micromanage this, but usually you don't see these guys without some big guys following, so let's take a quick look around. I think that was one of our dudes. Who's this? Whitman level 4. Oh, right, we should probably promote him, huh? Probably could have done that a while ago. What were you gonna be? You were gonna be a knight. That's what you were gonna be. I think we want another one, but 7's where we were, so let's just stick with 7. Nah. Probably be a better weapon than some of the ones we have, but I kind of just don't care. I don't think we need it, frankly. Oh, what do you mean, fight? Why is there fight music playing? Oh, alright, they're their buddies. I was wondering where those were. They never come alone, ever. But yeah, never really thought of myself as someone who would be doing this kind of thing, but it's fun. Honestly, it's fun. Like, some of it has gotten to be a little bit of a grind. I'm not gonna lie, Stonehearth is a little bit of that. But I'm pulling it around, and honestly that's good practice anyway, even if it is like... And don't get me wrong, Stonehearth's not going anywhere, I enjoy it. But it's not like... You know when you get a new game, and I had this with Darkest Dungeon recently, you really, like, you get a new game and you're playing it for the first time. There's a different feeling than after you've recorded, like, over 100 episodes of it, which is where I'm at with Stonehearth. And it's not really like, oh god, I have to record more Stonehearth, what a pain in the ass. It's more like, okay, back to the thing that I know inside and out. And to be fair, I don't know absolutely everything about Stonehearth, but I'm pretty damn familiar with this game by now. I think 100 videos at 20 minutes each is going to be 2,000 minutes, which is Shit, I threw my phone away. I don't know, 2,000 divided by 60, that many hours. It's a lot of time. So I have at least decent familiarity with it. And it's like the... Yeah, it's kind of like a relationship. At a certain point, like, the honeymoon phase is over, you're just kind of like, you know what you're getting, you know what's there, and that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but it is a different feeling from the initial, like, rush of enjoying the game. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. It's not a criticism of Stonehearth by any stretch, it's just a different feeling. And it can be nice to go, you know, play Darkest Dungeon for a little while and have that new sense of novelty and wonder in a game that, you know, maybe not as familiar with. So, I forgot why I brought that up. Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of losing my trains of thought here. The only thing, like, I've been focusing on work all day, so it's been kind of tough to disengage and really, like, be 100% on something. Yeah, it's been a fun journey so far with YouTube, trying to kind of sort of learn about not just this, but also, like, who am I? Well, not who am I know who I am. I'm pretty confident in who I am, I like who I am and all that. Doesn't mean I'm perfect by any stretch, don't take it that way, I just mean I understand myself to a degree and I'm okay with who and what I am. But I never really thought this was me, and it's been a good experience to kind of go from where I was, of kind of being comfortable with myself and knowing myself and having certain limits that perhaps I had imposed on myself prematurely, thinking that I was a certain way when actually I can kind of do something like this and feel okay about it instead of feeling ashamed every time I open my mouth. Which is perhaps where I used to be, being kind of ashamed and closeted isn't the right word, but like very introverted to a degree that I would never consider this good. And honestly, it was a few key compliments I got from people, particularly about my voice, that kind of kicked off this as an idea. So what I was really getting at there was it's been nice to kind of explore speaking, you know? Just as like a asset, I guess, if you can put it that way. We all speak, we all talk, but how many people like ever really stop and think about how they speak or what they talk about or how to be more interesting, how to convey things better or communicate better? It's not something that you normally think about, even though it's one of the most common things that you probably do in your life. You know, next to breathing and sleeping and eating. So it's kind of, that's the one thing that's really been interesting, kind of doing this and getting into it and thinking about, all right, well, what do I need to do? What makes sense to do? How do I get better? Just thinking like, man, I've gone my whole life not really thinking about what it means to speak, and not just that, but what it means to entertain. And, you know, when you say someone is charismatic, what does that actually mean? Like, how do you... Clearly there's a way to be charismatic. I don't think it's as romantic as just saying, oh, well, you're either born with it or you're not. I think that's naive. Reality is much more simple than that. And that means to some degree that it can be learned. So if it can be learned, I should learn it. Right? Seems logical, doesn't it? So then the question becomes, well, how do I learn it? And then I don't necessarily have the answer. I gotta kind of think about it and understand, alright, well, what does this actually entail? How do I become charismatic, quote unquote? And that, I think, is a really interesting question, and something that has involved, you know, created not too much yet, because we're still early on here, but some personal growth and trying to figure out, hey, well, is this someone that I want to be? Do I want to change myself in this way? And thinking, well, yeah, it's a positive change. Being more charismatic is a good thing, right? I think that's pretty objective. I think everyone would probably agree on that. So how do you go about doing it? Because people, you can take classes on public speaking. You can talk about, all right, what does it mean to be a good public speaker? And, you know, I almost never go to concerts, but I went to one concert, and it was Green Day and Jimmy Eat World and Flogging Molly. Flogging Molly went up first, and it was great. I didn't know how good it was, because it was the first time I'd seen a live music performance, but it was fantastic in retrospect. Then Jimmy Eat World went up, and were fucking horrible. Just unbelievable. I didn't like the band that much before, but their performance was like, we do not want to be here, get us out of here. It was horrific. Unbelievably bad. And I was thinking like, wow, Flogging Molly was great. They were like engaging the crowd, they were talking, they were having fun. It wasn't just, okay, here's the song you heard on the radio 90 times, played exactly the way you've heard it. Here's something actually interesting. We're going to play it slightly differently. It was actual live music instead of basically, you know, hey, we're playing it live, but this is basically, you could have just recorded it and it would have been the same goddamn thing. And then Green Day came up and did everything Flogging Molly did, but better, because of course they're freaking Green Day. So I'm still not that interested in concerts, but it was very interesting to see that kind of that difference between, God, I don't want to be here. And you can tell when someone feels that way in kind of a public speaking or public performance or entertainment environment. You can tell when someone doesn't want to be there. And it's a huge turnoff for everyone. So unless you're a massive fan, I don't see that being good for anyone if the performer is that way. So that was very interesting to learn. I think doing this and kind of experiencing it and watching videos kind of takes that a step further, a little bit more nuance, and trying to figure out, well, okay, just wanting to be there is easy, right? Just be passionate about what you're doing, that's not a problem. But there's obviously more to it than that, so what is that? And that's kind of where I'm trying to learn how to do that, and in the process learn about myself and try and figure out, well, how do I operate with these things? How do I feel about these things? And just make it work, basically. Not that it's hard to make it work, it's just, you know, it's tweaking and trying to figure out how do I be more entertaining. And it's a really fun problem to try and tackle, so I'm enjoying that a great deal. Anyway, that is it for this episode, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that kind of, you know, I have a tendency to talk shop a little bit too much probably, but I think it's an interesting subject. I hope you guys enjoy it as well, and I hope you'll join us in the next episode. Take care.